All right, bigger footy time. We're back. We're getting to the pointy end. We've made it to August, got through June, July. Big boy month is gone. Now we're into taper off. Every game means something. Bailey's ladder predictor app going absolutely off its head. And
training load phase, as they call it.
Training load, yes.
Is that what Collingwood are saying?
Yep. Clearly Collingwood in a heavy training phase here, and they're just sort of about to taper off now. But yeah, we've got a big show, plenty of footy to talk about. There was some huge moments from the weekend, and when the Div 1 sides play the Div 1 sides, we get some great little entree into September. So joining me today, so Patto here, sorry, not Leggy. Leggy's busy with work, so we've let him off the hook there. I've got JJ in the studio.
Yeah,
Josh Jenkins.
I thought you were going to go solo there. I thought it was going to be reminiscent of my solo pod. Just thought you were going to go for 20 minutes on your own.
No, we're not doing that.
Good to be here. I might be able to be here next week too if the footy's good enough. So looking forward to ripping in.
You're up here. You're on SEN this afternoon.
Yeah, Gazy's away for a couple of weeks, so just filling in on drive for a few weeks. That'd be good.
Nice. I always like the Andy Marr JJ combo. That's what we're looking at.
Yep.
Yeah. Has he given up?
Pair of lefties.
Yeah, exactly. And we've got Link over there in the producer chair. Link, how you going?
I'm going well.
Sorry, spent too much time with Link over the last 48.
Yeah.
What's been happening? What, did you
I
guys
went to
catch up?
the Pies Lions game on Saturday
You were
night,
working,
which was
right?
good watch. I usually ask the first question in the rooms post game. We were on the main station on Saturday night, so I got buffed off that duty. The host of the Saturday Night Football, will remain nameless, but Johnny Donahoe didn't throw down to me. He just went, "Oh, Will Ashcroft, there you are." And I'm, oh, Jesus.
For what it's worth, what would have been your first question?
I always just give him a half volley. I would have just gone, first time you've beaten the Pies of the MCG since 2014. How's it feel? And then,
Good question.
That's a good question.
You would have said, I'm a second-year player, so
so I don't really care.
Relevant to me. Link and I we did good things on Saturday night on SEN.
Love that. Well done. And so what I thought we'd do, Leggy out of the chair, we're getting...
Be sorely missed.
Yeah. We're getting into the finals time now. So I want to get in a fan of each club, but whether or not we get him in on the pod, you're probably a special case here, as my special guest I'm about to reveal. We want to get someone in. We're going to focus on the Crows. Now,
A contender.
So it's officially lit-off time as this man, Will Swale from Clubby Sports. Will is a hardcore Adelaide man, loves his footy. So we thought we'd get him in. We want to unpack everything about the Crows, get a sense for how the Crows fans are feeling. And you can just start to it feels like, and JJ, no better person to be in here, 2017, the last time the Crows went to the big dance. I've got so many memories of 1997, 1998, just when the whole state gets behind a team like that. We're going to touch on our ideal grand final matchup a bit later. But for me, I'm really into Adelaide Oval rocking and the Crows. So without further ado, Will Swale, welcome to Bigger Footy.
What an intro. That's sort of...
He's doing well, isn't he?
It was never going to end.
I reckon he wants Leggy's job back. But how are you feeling about the Crows? They I can only imagine what it's like living and playing in Adelaide at the moment. It's always better than it seems and always worse than it seems over there. But how are you feeling about them?
It's getting really exciting. I think we've been starved of success obviously since 2017, and I think there's been a few tough years there as a Crows supporter. So I think, as you said, it's been bad for a little while, and finally it's a bit of good. So make hay while the sun shines.
What did you make of the game the other night? Shocking start. Well, it was, wasn't it? Five goals to zip, and we've all probably seen the quarter time huddle, and Nixie's calm, composed, which I love to see. I think that shows trust in your group. There's obviously a couple of ways you can go about it. Big spray, try and rattle them, but that was interesting, and the response was unbelievable. I want to give some flowers to Jordan Dawson. I think I've underestimated him. He is a freak.
He put him on his back, didn't he? I think that was always a danger game. Hawthorn have a lot to play for, given where they are on the ladder. They're also a really good team. I felt like they rocked up and, their pressure was high, and you could sort of the writing was on the wall early, but it was good to see them, steady the ship and go, all right, take stock at quarter time, and Big Dorse put him on his back for that second quarter. It was pretty exciting.
They're pretty mature because they've been able to regather themselves in game a couple of times. Brisbane had them on the ropes, and they were able to have that really big surge to start the fourth quarter. Now you can argue about whether Brisbane should have won that game or not, but to be able to, because they are young. I mean, most of that team hasn't played in any finals footy. There's a sprinkling. Neil Bullen, obviously a premiership player. Texas played a handful of finals, probably more than. He's probably played 10 finals. Dawson probably played finals for Sydney, I reckon. But there aren't many players in that team. I think the two GWS boys would have played finals when they were at the Giants.
Cumming would have, yeah.
So they've done a good job of being able to, cop and tolerate that first quarter onslaught from Hawthorn, because they were wound up. They were ready to rock and roll the Hawks. And then realise, well, there's still 3 quarters of footy. There's a lot of time left to go in this game. And in the end, it was from quarter time, it was pretty comprehensive. I know the Hawks made one more run, but I thought they were really good. And they defended behind the ball again really well. Keane and Worrell and a few of those lesser lights just did the job back there.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the possession winners. Number 1, Mark Keane with 21, Dawson with 21, and then Joshy Worrell with 20. It's a very even spread. There's no real stars.
And a low number.
Yeah.
Was that the possession leaders across the entire game?
Yeah,
for the
whole
Crows,
game.
the highest possession was 21.
21, wow.
You see a lot of mids get that in half these days.
Yeah.
So, it was a finals type game. A lot of long kicks to contests, a lot of willingness to take grass and just move the ball down the ground. So it was a really interesting game. Curtin again, he's fascinating to me. I wonder whether he and they would be courageous enough to move him inside mid now.
Well, he's done it the second half, the last 2 weeks.
And I wonder why they wait until a certain period in the game, because because of his sheer size, 197, he probably weighs. He has to weigh close to 100 kilos. Because of his size, you can't really tackle him. He can tackle smaller midfielders quite easily, and then he's such a weapon aerially. He just like Dawson is as well. I wonder why they wait. I wonder why they play him on the wing to start the game. Maybe they want to give Berry and others an opportunity around the ball, but I wouldn't be opposed to them just saying he's just an inside bin from now until the end of our season.
The Hawks were tall, so they started tall, subbed off Kalsha, wasn't it? So, maybe an opportunity opened up later around that. Is Jordan Dawson, I was just thinking around this, what is the right player comparison of a midfielder who can be utility, good marking midfielder, can go forward, can go back, can play inside, can play outside? I started thinking is he James Hird, Nat Fyfe, Jimmy Bartell type?
He's probably not. He's not as combative as Fyfe. He's not as Fyfe was more.
Be better skills than Fyfe.
Yeah, he's far more polished than Fyfe. But Fyfe is Fyfe. I can remember playing against Fyfe, and you sort of you're in the moment. You're like, geez, what was that? That's how powerful he was, and Danger's the same. But James Hird's a pretty good. He's so much more than his numbers. He's not one of those mids across the competition that gets 30 every week. In fact, he almost never gets 30, but he's a tackler. I've heard him a few times talk about he embraces the defensive side of the game as much as offense.
Yeah.
When players say that, you normally don't believe them because, who would prefer to tackle than get the ball? Really no one. None of us grew up playing footy because we wanted to tackle. So he is one, though, that does seem to love that side of the game. He often goes and plays on the best mid for the opposition, goes and beats them head to head. So his 2 goals were massive. It was an important part of the game, and he will be either the All-Australian captain or vice captain.
Big year, isn't it?
Yeah, it's down to him and Noah Anderson, I reckon, for that All-Australian captaincy. Yeah.
What do you think of him as a Crows fan, Swale?
Oh, he's just Mr. Consistent.
Did anyone in Adelaide know he'd be this good?
Well, you couldn't have. I think Rue play a big part in getting him over?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
I'm not sure how he landed. Well, he's an Adelaide boy, isn't he?
Yeah, he's from Robe.
Yeah.
I think he had a couple of good years Sydney, but nothing like this. Credit to the recruiting team. They did a good job there. But yeah, like he's just Mr. Consistent. You know what you're going to get every week. Like you said, never really big numbers, but 12 tackles on the weekend. Like that's setting the standard for the mids around him. And I think if he's the one that's going to be tackling, putting the pressure on, it makes the other mids around him better.
So Dawson was traded at the end of 2021 for a first round selection in 2022. With that pick, Sydney drafted Jacob Constanti, who didn't play a game.
Well, he's now playing for the Kangas.
So they've traded him for nothing.
Yeah. So, and I know he just re-signed. He would have got a nice pay rise because the talk when he went to Adelaide was about $650, $750.
Yeah.
He's worth nearly double that. So, I'd imagine they've grabbed him because he's a local. He's got a lot of talent. He's played in a good team, but he's got to have exceeded their expectations. Captain of the footy club, maybe joins Mark Bickley as the second ever premiership captain for them because it's all in front of them now because of their run in, what they've been able to do. A home qualifying final is not that far away. They're the most likely team to get that top 2 spot. So it's exciting times. They've got West Coast, I think, this Sunday.
In Perth.
Away. So you think
Could
that
win by 1,000.
Tex probably gets rested this week, you'd think, to then play 300 week 1 of finals.
Yeah.
Which would be pretty cool.
Tex was good. Tex had some clutch moments.
Yep.
I know you want to talk about Isaac Rankin. He's unbelievable. I'm thinking around.
Seeker just doing his thing.
Yeah, a Norm Smith medal for Isaac Rankin in the number 23 on grand final day with a tribute back to Andrew McLeod. I can see it happening.
On the Texan piece as well, I think this year, maybe it's his swan song, maybe it goes around one more, who knows. But I feel like Tex is doing the little things now where there was a moment I think in the showdown where someone was running past and he could have taken the ball and sort of wheeled it, but he tapped it on and I think he's doing those little selfless things. He knows, this is his real last proper crack at maybe winning a flag, and he's doing the selfless things to make the forwards around him better, which I think is really important. That team forward line. His
interview on Fox after the game was great. They asked him those questions, and he was just very honest, and he's very charismatic. But he was pretty much saying that he's like, I'm just going to enjoy every moment. I don't know.
I think he would have a genuine level of gratitude because he was really gone. He was gone.
2020.
He was in all sorts of trouble through the COVID period, and he's just been able to rediscover his best form. I reckon we had a hand in playing him back into form. We played them round 1 in 2021, and he kicked 5.
It was a warm day, I remember.
It was a really hot, windy day, and it was one of those days he threw a couple on the boot, and they went through, and it was just like a bit of a light bulb moment for him. And I think that was the year he kicked 60 or 70 goals, all Australian. So I would say he's just really thankful that he's still getting the opportunity, finally back in a good team. And he's a part of that team now. Like the chatter about 3 talls, 2 talls, they are what they are now. From here on out, you're not making a change. You're going down with what you've got. So you're not making that change. Yeah. The Hawks, different situation because they chose to change their setup and play their 4th tall this late in the season, but Adelaide have been this all year. In terms of Rankin,
you could sub them. You could go
and that's probably the plan. Yeah. And Tex occasionally starts on the bench to play a little bit less time on the ground. But I think with Rankin, he's an interesting discussion because I wonder whether I look at their midfield and Berry's a great trier. Now, don't take that in the wrong way. He's a great trier, but he doesn't have a lot of physical tools. Saligo's maybe getting better than I thought. Maybe he'd plateaued a little bit, but he's getting back to, back on the upward trajectory. Dawson speaks for himself. Rankin, I feel like will be needed around the ball in finals because every time there's a forward 50 stoppage, they're trying to get him involved. So why not have him involved more? And in finals, the ball's on the ground more. It's on the ground 3/4 of the game. So I feel like when the finals come around, Rankin might be needed around the footy a fair bit more.
I think it'd be important as well if Rochelle comes back. That'll probably allows Rankin to get up the ground a little bit more now.
Is he likely to get back?
I think he's on track for week 1.
Yeah.
So him and Max, which Max is probably really the big one as well. McElhaney, that is. Who has just been, just hasn't been beaten this year.
Yeah. What is it going to? How many players played in the 2017 grand final loss that are still playing?
Mate, bugger all.
2 or 3.
Brody Smith did
Brody
his knee.
Smith didn't play.
Matt
Crouch is
Crouch,
in the
he's in the twos. He's getting 30.
Yeah, he got rested.
30. Did he really?
So it's just
Yeah.
Tex, is it?
Laird I believe he was rested.
In the grand final?
No, rested on the weekend.
Oh, sorry.
sorry.
Yeah.
I was like,
So
No,
Tex and Let. What,
We
what's
were
it?
confident. We weren't that confident.
Yeah. What does it
Is there
mean?
anyone else?
I'm just looking.
Miller didn't play.
We'll have to have a look. Let's bring it up.
Well, Tex, Fogg didn't obviously play.
Nah, Fogg
No.
was drafted the year after.
Yeah.
So,
No,
no,
that's-
not
that's
many. And you've got Neil Bullen, obviously, who's a premiership player elsewhere. So
Yeah.
it'd be great for some of those guys. And the entire staff would be different too, I think. The entire coaching staff is not a coach or anyone that's there. Even Adam Kelly came in afterwards. So the entire football club is completely different except for a couple of players. I was doing the game on Saturday night. Rory Sloan was in the box beside me. He, didn't quite make it to the year of massive improvement, so he'll be a bit flat about that. But it is exciting for the town. It's been a long time coming. Like, there's a lot of commentary about whether the coach would actually get to this point. So credit to him as well. I don't know whether he's an outstanding coach, good coach, average coach, whatever. But I reckon the way he's handled himself is improved as well. I used to get worried about him. They'd play one good game and he'd be really like up and he's a bit of a salesman. I'm thinking, I don't know about this. Like, you got to be a bit more level. You got to be, but this year he's been really impressive every time I've heard him speak.
Yeah. All right. Well, Swaley, give us your summation. What's going to happen from here? What backs, mids, forwards? What are you most concerned about, and how confident are you that the Crows are going to win this flag?
As we touched on, like they're getting pretty even across the ground, which is a good sign. If you get 2 home finals, as Joshy said, like that first week prelim, Adelaide Oval 55,000. Like they're going to be a tough team to beat.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
So if you win that first final, the lid will be off.
Yeah, be a long 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It will be. And I was thinking about it before when you were talking about back in 2017. I remember I was at that game. I've never seen anything like it in Adelaide.
Everyone says the same thing about the prelim. It was because the way the game was played out was perfect as well. It was like 50-6 or 10 or something at quarter time. So
it was over at half time, basically. I just remember the energy in the stadium. It was just like, it was the best thing ever.
They will need, though. I'm probably less confident about Adelaide being able to go on the road and win finals than Brisbane or Collingwood. I do still think for where they're at, maybe I've definitely been a little bit slow to the party on them. They're better than I thought, quicker than I thought. I thought they'd be Hawthorn of last year and need another 12 months. But maybe they've just gotten better a lot quicker. I still feel like they'll rely on the home finals more than anyone else. And maybe that's because we've seen Collingwood go and win big games. We've seen Brisbane, win big games. We've seen them win a premiership. So I still feel like they'll really need to lean into that home final.
Completely agree. I feel like I spent most of this season going, maybe we're 1 year too early, year too early, thinking, I didn't think top 2 was actually a realistic chance. And then all of a sudden, the last month, that shifted and you go, well, if they finish top 2, they're going to be bloody hard to beat in Adelaide. And then, if you make a grand final, anything can happen.
They seem like a pretty mature side. Like I want to go and look at their average age and games played and compare that with everyone else in the top 9.
I think they'll bang on with Hawthorn on the weekend.
Yeah.
Almost within a couple of months.
They seem quite mature.
You get there. I mean, they control their own destiny now, really, in the sense of they've got a pretty soft run in. They obviously Collingwood would be a good measuring stick that in 2 weeks.
That'll be a good game. Yeah.
Collingwood, gee whiz, their backs against the wall now. They play Hawthorn Thursday night. If you wouldn't have think they'll lose that, but if they do, they're going to Adelaide losing 4 of their last 5. They say that the good teams don't traditionally lose in June, July, August. Well,
yeah. Well, it's a good segue. We want to talk about Collingwood and Brisbane. JJ, you've called it. You've been saying it a few times this year that the Lions' best is the best in the comp.
Yes.
I mean, it's their belt at the moment. It's their premiership to lose. It's still theirs until someone's actually beaten them and knocked them out of contention.
Yeah, it's their throne, no doubt about it. There's no. I've got no problem with. Have Adelaide played a better game than Brisbane? Maybe. Have Collingwood? Maybe. But I still think the power and the force that Brisbane can apply to a game, I don't think anyone else has. And Link, you were there, so you can talk to the game as well. At halftime, what was it, 1 point game, I think, halftime. So Rayner and Bailey had not touched the ball. Like I think Rayner had 3 touches.
I was just about to say, Rayner had 3 touches.
Bailey had a handful, but no real meaningful impact in the game. And then in the second half, those 2 boys just got to work.
Rayner has 12 and 2 in the second half.
Yeah, Rayner goes big in the second half.
What about Rayner playing on from that advantage?
I'm glad you raised that. I said it in the call.
Crazy.
I don't know how he can be expected to do anything different. I think that's a scenario where I was thinking about it on the way up because the boys on radio were talking about how the advantage rule is such a mess. Mitch Lewis takes advantage, hits the post. I don't know how the players sometimes it's clear and they're just taking the mickey. I don't know how Rayner could possibly know in that moment it's a free kick because he sees the contest and you can't just say, well, he should be an umpire in that moment and see that it's a front on contact and see that it's a free kick. I mean, he's not an umpire, he's a player. The ball then spills, he turns, he's got his back to where the umpire is, picks it up, kicks a goal.
Yeah.
Maybe do we want him to stop?
If he were to stop, he'd be the only person in the entire stadium who knew it wasn't a free kick, and he would have looked like an absolute goose. So he just had to back himself and play on.
That's right. So that's where I think, and like Mitch Lewis won maybe to a lesser extent, but 50,000, the joint's going berserk.
Yeah.
How is he really to know? I wonder if we can extend the advantage out to the fact that does the next possession need to be advantageous? Because we see a lot of times that player will take advantage and spray the kick or miss the goal, and then you took your advantage. Well, did we get an advantage from it?
Yeah.
So the Rayner one was, I thought it in the moment because Stevie Quartermain was saying, thank God he kicked the goal. Like everyone would have roasted him, and I thought, well, how's he supposed to know it was a free kick?
Yeah,
it was an incredible.
I just
finish.
didn't know whether he just didn't know, didn't hear it, or because he was struggling in that first half. He just.
And there's maybe 10% of that.
And as well, the modern day player would feel quite comfortable doing a dribble kick like that on their preferred
not quite
leg.
as confident as Morris 25 out directly.
We were saying off air before favourite moments of the weekend. I reckon that little passage of play was my favourite moment.
Yeah.
I don't think you can underestimate the difficulty of all the factors considering he had a quiet first half. So often a player would get an advantage like that and they think, oh, I haven't had a kick, I'm just going to hack this.
Yeah.
When you're kicking from that angle, if you're full of adrenaline, you probably overkick that and
slippery
go too
night,
fast.
so you don't get as much grip on the ball.
He just got a little bit of death touch and has put it absolutely perfectly through the middle, and it was just an unbelievable goal at such a pivotal time.
I feel like his rap sheet of players that have had a quiet first half and come out and dominate in the second half is growing, isn't it?
And I often defend him because he doesn't get to play, he doesn't go to many centre bounces. Zach Bailey doesn't go to any. I've said it on this show before, but Bailey could be one of the best players in the game. He just doesn't get to play midfield. You look at what Ed Richards has done half back to mid. Bailey could do that. Yeah. If Bailey was playing for Hawthorn, put him in their midfield, they need a game-breaking. He would be one of the better midfielders in the game because he runs, he bounces, he kicks goals, he creates goals, but he just simply does not get to play on ball.
Who's he kicking out, though?
In Brisbane's midfield? Well, no one.
And I feel like he can play that half-forward role where obviously you're not sending Lockie Neal there. McCluggage isn't going there.
Dunkley needs to play there because he often plays on the opposition's best player. So I've got no problem with his role. It's just why when you look at Rayner and Bailey, and probably more so Rayner, people say, Rayner hasn't touched the footy. Well, why not? Maybe it's because he's playing the graveyard role.
Yeah.
And he's not only playing the graveyard role, that requires the forwards to get up and back. That's not his game. His game is ball needs to be in a room this size and you can't tackle me. And when I tackle you, you'll stay tackled. He laid 2 tackles in a row late in that game. One was on Nick Dacos, who no one ever really tackles, and it was just when he's able to be powerful. I don't think there's anyone else pound for pound who is as powerful as he is. Bailey had 17 and 2 goals in the second half. So those 2 boys were massive. McCluggage, Dunkley, and Neal had over 100 disposals between them, and in the end. And this, we'll get to Collingwood in a moment because they are a bit of a talking point. It was a beatdown. It was plus 85 disposals, plus 17 clearance, plus 22 around the ball at contest, plus 68 on the outside.
And the marks as well.
16 more marks.
The footy.
And they led the game for 110 minutes. Yeah. So it was fairly comprehensive in the end from Brisbane and unbelievable impressive.
I feel like Nick had his moments in that second quarter where put him on his shoulders, had 4 or 5 clearances and just looked unstoppable. But inside, I thought Brisbane's mids, their handball game
domination.
Were unstoppable. Like Collingwood did not have an answer for them.
The Brisbane Collingwood games are good to watch. There's so much skill, match winners at every line. You think about McCluggage kicking the ball, squaring it back up inside. And then Nick Dacos early in that game did one as well.
There were 3 of the best kicks we've seen all year.
Side-bottom kick was unbelievable.
Side-bottom's kick was incredible. Yeah. Darcy Gardner, of all people, picking one off through the middle. It was like the
bounce pass
to Wilmot. Didn't break stride. It was an amazing game, 82,000. It was cool to be there. To be honest, if we get them in the grand final, absolutely no problems. If we get Brisbane, Adelaide, all the good teams are good for a reason. They played the game the right way. So Brisbane, massive tick. We'll get to Collingwood in a second. Logan Morris, 6 goals. He's got rare ability. He's just so natural with the way he plays the game, the way he finishes. He takes his chances, kicks 6 straight. He sprayed 1 that didn't score, but he kicked 6 goals straight. Yeah. Kicks him in big moments, can go right and left foot. He's a rare talent for a young man. So yes, they lose Danaher, but you bring in Oscar Allen next year alongside Logan Morris. Terrifying.
Henry Smith did have a good night. We started well.
He made the most of his opportunities.
He did, but in the second half, he wasn't covering the ground overly well. The one question probably is he's probably not their solution.
Yeah, I don't know what they do.
Side come finals.
I don't think they want to play 2 rucks either. Big O's really struggling with his back. So I don't think they really want to play because Darcy Cameron was pretty impactful in that game. He got back behind the ball. And Darcy Foote, I know him. I've spent time with him. Really good competitor, but he just wasn't able to go with Cameron in some big moments. So, I don't know what they do. I don't know what they do in terms of that second. I would give consideration to just committing Eric Hipwood as your second ruck because you don't need your second ruck to be dominant. You just need them to be able to go in there and just nullify, not get smashed. Eric's good around the ground. I wonder if you can just commit to that. And then because you've still got, you don't lose any marking power in front of the ball because Archie's a good mark. Rayner can jump up in the air and take marks. You've still got Logan Morris down there. So I wonder what they do in that space. That's their only question mark, really.
Was Logan Morris giving Houston a bath? Or he didn't quite. But there was a couple of marking contests where he was looking at Houston. He
had Dean for the most part early, and he was just too good for Dean. Dean's been getting a bit of a kicking. He's not the first and won't be the last player that loses a couple of one-on-ones. And Collingwood are so system-based that they set their game up so that they don't have players in one-on-ones. That's, there was a couple where Moore was coming. He just didn't get there in time. Quaynor was trying to get across, didn't get there in time. They need Howe back. He's the one. I was driving out of the MCG and he was walking out. And I was looking at him thinking, geez, I hope you're ready to go because they need him badly. For a 35-year-old.
At the Adelaide Oval in a couple of weeks.
They need him badly. And Frampton's the other one. So he's played VFL last couple of weeks.
So Dean played well a couple of weeks ago and they just backed him in.
Which is great.
Yeah, exactly. Held his spot when Frampton was ready to go. Now he's had 2 weeks in the VFL. So now it's just who are you picking?
The thing on Frampton, and they know this, Frampton's not going to light up the VFL. He's not that type of player. But I thought he was as good a system lockdown defender. He was the perfect thing that they needed in the first 2/3 of the year. So
he allows Darcy more, I feel like, to be able to be a bit looser.
Yeah.
I've talk about giving the flowers. I think Bill Frampton for that 8-week block there when they were probably going as well as they were going, he was locking down their best defender. Darcy was going off, and Darcy was looking like a rock star again because he was allowed to intercept and do all the flashy stuff. I mean, Darcy Moore started on Charlie Cameron on Saturday night. Which,
wanting to sort of drop off him and try and air assist. So I'm not. What'd they lose? 3 out of 4 on the way into. It's just eyes off the prize stuff for me, I reckon, with them. Now they're not as solidified at the top of the ladder like they were in 23. But how can you not sort of be a little bit? Oh, let's look ahead. Let's start to conserve and preserve ourselves. So
ease the goey back.
Yeah, and they got through that, and that worked for them. Bobby Hill came on, didn't have a massive impact in the game, but was able to get back out there. So, I don't know. I don't know that I'll be too worried about them.
I've got them finishing third.
Yeah, right. Have you got them
against Geelong?
Winning against the Hawks?
Yes.
I think they're good things against the Hawks.
Yeah,
Ned Long's a bit of an interesting point of discussion. So I think that they will have spent a lot of time talking about Long or Mitchell. Doesn't make a big difference in terms of the output, so let's go with the younger guy. He was deer in headlights on Saturday night. Didn't touch the ball much. I think he only had
9.
Yeah, 9 touches.
He had a dirty night.
A couple of real cough ups too, like
imagine
moments
taking
where
him for
you,
20 plus.
Yeah. Well, at least you knew your fate.
Yeah.
A couple of moments we thought, oh, what was that? Like this is a big moment. And, real like loose handball back into the corridor, and Brisbane score off the back of it. So it wouldn't surprise me if they did flip that and they went for Mitchell over Long. And I wouldn't be critical of them for it because they've given Long a long.
He's played every game this year.
Yeah, he's played plenty of footy, and he will play plenty of footy, and he might play in a premiership this year.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't surprise me if they just flip that to try and remedy what's happening around the ball for them.
Just want to pose one question. I mean, a lot of talk about Houston the last couple of weeks around where he fits. I feel like Lachie Schultz went through this last year, came across from Freo to a new system and really struggled. This year he's come in and done a really good job. Where to from Houston? I personally had a thought that they could get him through the midfield and maybe just try something else, because he is a very, very good player and a very, very good user, where I think they need a circuit breaker.
He played some mid for Port for a little while and dominated. So that's a good call, particularly for them. They just need a bit more bite and punch around the ball. And if they wanted to move Nick to half back, they could do that. I don't know what he doesn't look unbelievably fit to me. That's the first port of call, and maybe those stripes bring out the worst in you.
I've got a quote. Why is Collingwood's game plan so hard to come in and crack when you've come from somewhere else? It seems like it's happened 3 or 4 times.
But the strange thing for him, defensively, I think he's actually been pretty sound. He's been all right, and it's not his go-to. He just hasn't been able to get the ball much. Now, they do prioritise Josh Dacos.
And Nick.
He doesn't get the kick-ins very often. Howe takes kick-ins. Maybe because they've got a more even bunch of distributors back there. Yeah. When you look at Port, they had him, a little bit of Farrell, not much else back there. It was get it to him at all costs.
He was the quarterback. I feel like everything went through him, and now you've got Nick, you've got Josh.
Yeah, they don't have to use him.
Still on the wing. Like, you've got 3 really good users there where he doesn't have to be. He's not the man.
Yeah. I think you can look at it. You should look at it as upside, really. Chris Judd had that theory, didn't he, about the hardest thing to do is go and dominate in your first year for a new team. Like you're literally getting to know everyone. You're getting to know, the whole system, the whole environment, everyone involved. So maybe he's having that issue. He's just not quite comfortable yet, but it's only upside. He's going to be a good player for them for 4 or 5 years.
That was my issue at the Saints. I just need another year. My
second
second year would have been good.
I got 2 years at the Cats, but the second year was worse than the first.
Now,
so no, we're not ringing the alarm on Collingwood.
No, it was just a reminder that the game and the game in the next couple of months is all about turnovers, pressure, and when Brisbane do that, then when they win the ball back, between the arcs, they've got some great kicks, behind the footy that will carve them up, and they've got match winners ahead of the ball. So if you get the ball in on one-on-ones off the back of that, they'll punish.
If they play each other again, and their opposition coach will put this in his book, they've got to handle Harris Andrews better. So he played on Membry. I would basically assign my check to Andrews next time they play as a call it a defensive forward, but for the sake of knowing that Mycheck is a great competitor. Andrews had 15 spoils. Yeah. A handful of them went over the fence. Some were really important because they cleared the area. They didn't allow the small forwards for Collingwood to crumb and to surge it forward and to get involved. So Membry just wasn't quite big enough to deal with Andrews. So I would put Mycheck on Andrews and say, like, you're still a forward. We still want you to be dangerous, but just don't let him have those big kill spoils. Don't let him have 10 intercept possessions. And
no dumb long leads.
That's
Hold
right.
Your leads
against Brisbane. Collingwood desperately need McCreary in the team.
Yeah.
They need to be able to fight fire with some power. So they need him
good
back.
take.
Bill Frampton did do that in the grand final on Harris,
Yeah,
and obviously
exactly.
you saw it work. And if you stop Harris and you can stop Zorko somehow, well, it goes to a long way of stopping their movement.
Do you think we'll ever get to the point where the game review, that the coaches and the players go through on a Monday, is opened up and broadcast?
No.
It's too much giveaway.
Or a component of it.
It's pretty tame.
Or it
They're
released.
pretty tame now.
Yeah.
Like you probably cop 2 or 3 like really stinging ones a year. But for the most part, the coaches are about like the long term, the system overall. I think generally the line meetings can be pretty hard and harsh. A smaller group.
Yeah. Working with your line coach.
Yeah, and particularly when the line coach feels like he and his group have let the rest of the team down a little bit, like they can be a bit more stinging. So, like Chris Fagan was backing his boys after the Q clash, but then by Wednesday, Thursday, he was like, "We better respond." So I reckon he said to them, "I'll give you a pass, but I won't give you 2."
Well, Lockie Neal actually, I think it was Lockie Neal actually came out publicly and said, I think it was asked about the review and how they went. They said, well, you can't review effort. So like it wasn't anything to do with the system because they just didn't rock up. So I think they literally, I don't think they did much of a review. They said, hey, that's our own goal for the year.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to review not rocking up. So
and that's what we said. Like everyone gets a mulligan, and we can talk about the Giants shortly. I give them a mulligan, but you don't get 2 mulligans in a row. A, because that's not what good teams are about, and B, if you do that, you're going to miss the 8. So Brisbane got their mulligan and then got back on track with a nice ace the very next hole.
Yeah. I just think the game review is some of the most interesting parts of footy, and clubs are happy to open up when a player's doing their retirement speech, when they're making their debut and they're calling their parents. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing a bit of it, but
it's a while off.
Secret IP, obviously.
Well, the Giants do have that documentary being followed at the moment. I think which
and maybe a coming out postseason is the appropriate time to do.
That's probably Hawks did one in the preseason, I think.
Yeah.
So hopefully.
Yeah. Well, let's touch on the Giants. So full pass. I mean, Dogs.
Well,
and Thursday night footy. Another stinker.
I probably should have gone a bit harder with this before the game rather than after the game and looking like a hindsight hero. But so the Giants played in, and I believe massively in the emotional letdown spot. So you have a great comeback, or you have an amazing team performance, a kick after sign, whatever it is. The very next, maybe a showdown or a derby, and we've seen that in those games. And then the very next game, you just have that drop off in intensity and spirit and life. So the Giants had that big, probably the best quarter of footy we've ever seen, coming back against Sydney and winning. They have 5 days plus a plane ride to Melbourne, and they lose Green, Buckley, and Kelly. We should have seen it coming. They were lifeless, and 5 minutes into the game, I think we're all thinking, this is shithouse. Yeah. What are they doing? Like this, there's no one there for a start. That's a whole different conversation. But the Giants are playing dead here. Now, they're not doing it deliberately, but subconsciously they just don't have the level of effort required. And I just think I had a look at the Thursdays. 19 times this year a team has played on a Thursday off 5 days, and 4 times a team has played 5 days plus travel, and that was the Giants on the weekend. So don't be surprised to see. That's why these games I think are shit, because 5 days, 6 days, and you know this, 6 days is good. Back-to-back 6 days is not good, because at least on a 6-day break, you've still got a chance to train on 5 days. So if you break down a 5-day break, which is actually really a 4-day break, you have the day after the game, you're recovering, like you're in the ice bath. Then the second day you're trying to get going and running. You have to have a day off, which is mandated by the PA. The next day is the captain's run before the game. So some of those guys would still be feeling sore as the captain's run rolls around.
Add in the plane ride as well.
Add in the travel. And now, like, you might say,
strength of schedule ratings.
You might say, Sydney to Melbourne on a plane, how hard can it be? But I played for Adelaide and we flew every second week. The plane ride's the easy part. It's Lairdy's bag hasn't turned up. We've got to sit here and wait for the bag. It's just your hotel is shit. You don't have the stuff you want. The food's like it's just all these little things. And again, you might listen and say, "Oh, how precious."
It can be 1 or 2% from
It's
10
enough.
players,
And
that's enough.
when it can be consistent and persistent, it can be really frustrating. So I'm happy to give the Giants a pass on it, but you only get one pass.
Yeah, the Giants need to just be. They feel like there's a bad loss each. Well, they had to put a good month of footy together.
I think they'd won 8 out of 9.
Yeah.
So
well, that's fair enough then.
And it's a similar conversation with Freo when they'd been unbelievable. Then they lose a game when we try and jump on them and squash them. So Pies, I think Pies 5-day break into this Thursday. So it's a watch.
Yeah. Well, it's the only finals matchup this week with the teams in first and ninth playing against each other. So Thursday night, I mean, hopefully this is a cracking game because we haven't had a good stretch of Thursday nights. But that's good strength of schedule ratings, insights from you, JJ. Maybe we need to scrap
it's a final Thursday night game until finals.
Yeah, I saw that. Do we know the reason why?
Got to be for the short turnarounds for the breaks, which lends itself to what we were just talking about. Like, are Thursdays, should Thursdays every week happen, like moving forward? Because
it comes down to the broadcaster, though, doesn't it?
That's right. And look,
I love it because the weekend feels like it's here
I'll
earlier.
watch every single one of them. And if you say you can watch a mediocre game of AFL or watch home and away, I'll take the mediocre game.
Could have the footy show come back on a Thursday night.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. But
some new programming, maybe.
Maybe, but I'd still take the game, even if it's because.
Well, there was no one there on Thursday night. I mean, it's clearly going to be better than Monday night footy. What about would Monday night football be of interest?
I think they've tried that, didn't work. But I do think that the games on Thursday night were a little bit better earlier in the year. Yeah. Unfortunately, the broadcaster, when they refixtured the second half of the year, they chose to back Essendon and Carlton. And it comes down to them. It's a disgrace, really, that it got through because I'm not sure who was advising that to say, hey, let's get Essendon and Carlton on every Thursday the next bloody 8 weeks.
Well, I think we've got to put up with another. It might be Friday. Doubleheader.
Yeah.
There's
Geelong, Essendon.
And then Geelong, Essendon Friday. But then the following week, when Thursday night footy does end, the Channel 7 game is Essendon St Kilda when you've got 8:20 on the eastern seaboard, Fremantle and Brisbane.
Yeah.
It's just a joke. But I think they won't be attaching their cart to those two teams next year, I wouldn't have thought.
Yeah. And whilst we're on the broadcasting, equally, so Brisbane Collingwood only available on Fox and KO. Which is a shame because there are more people in this country than not that don't have Foxtel or KO. And then the Collingwood Adelaide game as well, that's only going to be available on Fox and KO unless you live in Adelaide and you get the Channel 7 broadcast. So that sucks as well. So there's a bit to work through for the old broadcast AFL fixturing team.
Yeah.
Their best year.
Exactly. No, Swanee will come in and sort it all out. In terms of unicorns in the game at the moment. So this is a little bit of banter we had in the WhatsApp group. Will, you probably need to get across this.
Well, whilst you do
you want to set the scene?
Yes. Whilst you get your head around unicorns, Will Day was the other one I wanted to touch on before we get onto the unicorns. So we know about the injury, another bone stress issue. Now, if you're listening to this as soon as we drop or over the course of the week, maybe there's more information around about his injury and how it came about. But a lot of people are saying questions will be asked of Hawthorn. And I thought to myself, there's no other detail, but questions will be asked and they should be asked. Well, I reckon, why should they be asked? One of the reasons is his preparation to get back to footy was different to most players who have long-term injuries. Didn't play VFL, which is the first port of call. And why is that important? At VFL level, you can control a lot more of your movement and you can have someone dedicated from the sports science team standing there saying, get him off. He's played a 12-minute block, bring him straight off. Okay, you've played 70 minutes or you've played 9 kilometres, or you've done 9 kilometres, now you're done. They didn't do that. They brought him straight back into AFL footy, which is different to what most players do. Then he played a full game at AFL level in his first game back. I was sure he was going to be the sub and subbed into the game, early in the second half, or subbed out of the game. They just said, no, let's let him play a full game. We're always wary of players second up. They say he got stood on, which is what's caused the bone stress. That doesn't necessarily marry up, but don't want to go into that space. So they're the questions and reasons why I think it's valid. it's hard to suggest they haven't rushed him back.
We saw what Collingwood did. They put Bobby and Jordan DeGoey last week, played VFL.
Yeah.
And then this week, Bobby starts sub. DeGoey, who was actually looking really powerful and strong.
Yeah, he looked great.
In the first half. He then, in that third quarter, clearly was a set plan that he would come off half through that third quarter and manage minutes. So that's probably like the blueprint which you speak of to go, hey, this is how one team did it. Give it, the Collingwood they got the luxury of having more wins and probably finals being secured, but it doesn't look good for Hawthorn now.
It just reeks of a little bit of desperation. They know they're slightly weaker
they're
in the midfield,
midfield,
and they were playing good footy when Day was in there.
It hasn't aged well because he's been injured this week, but Hayden Young and Will Day in the respective teams play a similar role as if that's that X factor
He's
midfielder.
Their difference maker.
Difference maker is probably the best way of putting it. Hayden Young was came on for a quarter, then subbed out after 3 quarters, and it's irrelevant now because he's had a separate injury, but I thought that was a really good way of doing it too.
Yeah, it is. That's a good point.
Is he cooked?
Is that an inductor?
I don't think they've said it's... they're hopeful he'll be back for finals, I think, is the plan.
He's important to them.
Yeah, they can't... I don't think they can make a run without him. But yeah, I think that's what... It was a bit frustrating because I was hearing all these people on Sunday on the footy show say questions will be asked, but there's no detail around, well, this is why it looks a bit weird. And I think your point's right, Patto. They know they're a mid-short. Well, guess what? Now you're too short because you need one for next year and the years ahead, but now you don't have your very best player. And in the first quarter, he looked incredible, unbelievable in that game. So, I just wanted to have a quick chat about Will Day before we get it stuck into the Unicorns.
Would you do Petrarca for Mitch Lewis if you were the Hawks and the D's?
I would do that if I was Hawthorn.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love Mitch Lewis too. I'm not knocking Mitch Lewis one bit, but Christian Petrarca is available every week.
Yeah.
Mitch Lewis,
it might have to be.
He's not.
Mitch Lewis and someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gee whiz, that's a good one.
It will be a big
Midford. They need
I hope
they need a tall.
your tradies boys are ready to rock and roll. I'm sure they're across it more than us. It's going to be a busy trade period.
Yeah.
Can you not give up Mitch Lewis and get Clayton instead?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. There's much interest in Clayton at the moment.
Big preseason.
I could see Clary going to the Hawks and starring,
Dominating.
Yeah.
He's won 3 best and fairest. Like he's
it's
there somewhere.
Yeah. We'll watch your space. Big trade season to come, and we'll check it all out in the tradies
Better
pod.
get back off their turf.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about
He's
unicorns.
actually won 4 BNFs.
4. My apologies.
4
for Clary.
Australians.
Wow, that's a pretty good CV, isn't it? Premiership player. So unicorns, pet old people, Andy Marr, which I'll get to this afternoon, hate the term unicorn and comparisons to Wemby, that sort of stuff. Unicorns we're talking about players who either play the game in a different manner or are just physically different to everyone else that plays their position. I've got 4. I'm happy for you guys to add in any. So I'll go from 4 to 1. So Jeremy Cameron to me is a unicorn in the way that he plays key forward. He's 196 centimetres, but he's a roamer. He just runs wherever he wants. He's kicked 17 goals in his past 2 games, and I've been at both games. I reckon 2 of the 17 have been like a traditional key forward.
Yeah.
He's been getting handball receives, snaps, ground balls.
Yeah.
Like he's been doing everything except play like a key forward.
That was
and he's kicked 17.
Yeah, that was Buddy. Buddy
exactly.
didn't really take too many contested
Exactly
marks.
right.
Yeah.
Buddy was absolutely a unicorn. He's got 75 snags and counting. So he was at 4. At 3, Luke Jackson. He is what Freo hoped he would be, 199 centimetre follower, ruck follower. Had 27 touches on the weekend. Great power, great mobility. What I like about Jackson, he knows his limitations. He's keen to handball it to Sarong and Brayshaw and Hayden Young and bring guys into the game. Had 8 clearances on the weekend. So he fits the bill. He also solves their backup ruck issues as well. Dan Curtin, who I've only just finished fighting with the Crows fans about the Rising Star with Dan Curtin. I was sticking up for Levi Ashcroft, but he's obvious. He's 197, plays on the wing. I think he should play inside mid, aerial power. I think he'll be one of the best tacklers in the competition as well. And Sam Darcy's the obvious one, so he's number 1. We've never seen a key forward like him. Not only his ability to jump up and mark, at 4 metres in the air, says the Fox Footy Lab.
Thanks, Kingy.
But it's his ground level skills. It's his ability to kick on both feet. Like he's comfortable snapping around on his left. He's comfortable rolling on his left. He's got mongrel in him. He's the ultimate unicorn. So they are my 4.
I wonder if Luke was just giving him heaps of ground balls as a kid. Like, where does that come from? Or, did he
he's
grow
a
up
hard
late, or is it
taskmaster, Luke. He doesn't smile ever when he kicks a goal.
No. I think they're playing that quite well. It must be exciting having
Surely.
a young star like that.
I've only got 3 daughters, so hopefully they play some AFLW. But I reckon following your child's progress in the AFL, as long as you can be hands off and don't get too involved, would be one of the best things of all time.
Well, he'd have to be like so proud. But did he step away from the commentary stuff? Is that a bit to do with giving his son some fresh air, which
They
clearly
must have known
shows
how good he was going to be.
I think it shows how much he cares about his son's future.
Absolutely. Did I miss any?
The
You've got to be a rare commodity.
The ones I thought of was the original one is Anthony Koutafidis.
Yeah.
Kuda's a unicorn.
He's the original, the OG.
He was a key position player, but then could also play on ball, pick the ball up one-handed. Mark Blixarves would be another type.
Most versatile player in the history of the game, Blixarves, I reckon.
Yep. I guess like a Tim English or a Dean Cox for their skill level as a ruckman. And I thought maybe Bont as a taller midfielder, being able to go inside but then also go forward.
I've got one that you guys are going to hate, and I'd say less of a unicorn. There's probably less of a unicorn and just played in every position. I was watching Freo yesterday. Bailey Banfield has played every position on the ground.
The unicorn.
Yeah.
We're starting to stretch the friendship.
That's like Crows nuffie sort of areas. Who have I got here?
Love it.
Filthy.
So he's a utility.
He's a utility.
Yeah.
There's unicorns and utilities.
Yeah.
There's probably
Glad we found the line.
There's probably a bit of recency bias here, but I think seeing what Brodie Grundy did on the weekend, he's back. I feel like
isn't he?
He was obviously a star at Collingwood, went off the boil for a few years there, but he's is a midfielder.
Is he the AA ruck?
Well, I mean, 39 on the weekend, recency bias.
39 is a massive.
And Errol burnt him as well for 40. He got told to not handle a ruckman, which is probably for good reason. But I think that he's back, and he's a unicorn in the sense that he plays on the ground as well as Jackson. And I think he's
got the recency bias in his favour big time. I think there's a lot of romance around Max and getting his 8th, which would be, I think, an all-time record, or at least equal.
Yeah. With Rashuto and someone else.
Dangerfield.
Danger's got 8. There's a lot of romance around that. I've been sticking up for Darcy Cameron. He hasn't done anything wrong. They're maybe just not going to be that number 1 seed, which I was keen to reward them for. But, that's going to be – they'll pick 2 of them, I think.
Yeah.
They'll probably just pick both.
I think
on the bench.
They both warrant selection. So, and in terms of unicorns, I was trying to think of a small forward that marks overhead. So someone a bit different, like Jamie Elliott.
Yeah.
Bailey Fritz.
Wanganeen Miller is actually a unicorn.
Yeah,
because of the fact he's gone halfback, mid, forward.
Yeah.
So I guess you get a massive advantage if you've just got weird size. Like you've got rare size, and that's what Curtin has as a winger and Luke Jackson has now as a follower or an on-baller. So, a bit of fun anyway.
On Wanganeen last week, the second last mark he took, the contested grab. Yeah. I was arguing with my housemate at the time, who's a Melbourne supporter. So I was trying to tell him that's the mark of the year.
Oh, I thought you were going to say hands in the back.
Didn't get nominated. It didn't even get nominated for the mark of the week, which I thought was a bit stiff.
Yeah,
that was as good a mark as.
Yeah,
you got to take the moment.
You get wild cards, I think now, don't you? There are. I think you can win the goal of the year or mark of the year without having been nominated weekly.
Wow.
Well, might need to fact check.
That might be
pretty sure you can.
Moment biases again, but I thought, given the moment, that mark.
I think the moment has to be included in the process for the mark.
Did Dan Houston, has there been a goal of the year winner for a goal after the siren to win game?
Yeah, Houston's barrel in the wet.
Against Essendon.
In 2023.
Was that win it? Was it?
I think it might have.
Hey?
Was that goal of the year?
I don't
reckon it got nominated.
I think it got nominated.
Did Jamie Elliott?
Will Ashcroft won it that year with that goal against Freo, but I think Houston got nominated for goal of the week.
Yeah, he definitely would have.
Yeah.
Crows nuffie here. Surely Rankin wins it with that against Essendon on the boundary. A couple of bounces.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't even tell you what the good goals have been this year, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's been an average year.
I couldn't tell you. I reckon I got robbed for goal of the year once, but story for another day.
Oh, all right, let's research that one.
Shit
The only other
commentary.
point I wanted to make around
Ryan?
Darcy and Unicorns was the way I like the way the Dogs are kicking the footy to him now. They're doing that 7-iron
Yeah.
sort of weighted kick.
Yeah.
Liberty did one the other night. That was perfect. There's
Well, he
what,
either
what a
marks it or
luxury
it's a
having.
free kick.
What a luxury having him there. You just put it out in his vicinity, and you just know he's.
Didn't you love Sam Taylor's comments though after the game? Like, I got embarrassed tonight, but I'll grind him down. Like, I'll get him next time.
Yeah.
And some people took that the wrong way. Oh,
No, I
you
like
got
that.
5 kicked on you. Like, you should just shut your mouth. But that's why those gun defenders are that good, because that first thing they think of is, and I played with Dan Talia, who was of a similar mindset. He did not care about anything except beating his opponent.
Yeah.
And you got to love that mindset. So hopefully those two clash again soon.
Trivia question for you all. When was the last time there was 2 years of interstate grand finals in a row?
Oh,
in the
05,
AFL?
06.
05, 06.
Well,
Come on, mate.
you're wrong, because that was 3 years in a row.
Was it?
04, 05,
04, 05, 06.
Well, so you're right.
Thanks for that, Patto.
Yeah.
I
So
just didn't expect us to get it.
do we? Yeah. Do we think we're going to see this again? I'm probably leaning towards, and let's go back and revisit. What's our preferred grand final matchup?
Well, I said a month ago, Collingwood Brisbane, and I think we saw on Saturday night, as JJ mentioned earlier, that would be an awesome game, and we just know those two teams match up so well against each other. So I'm going to go the opposite end of the spectrum: interstate, Adelaide, Freo.
Yes.
Ooh.
I agree. I
Two
actually think that would,
drought-breaking
I doubt they wouldn't even fill
be, that would be an amazing
Cheap
storyline
tickets.
for the AFL.
Two drought-breaking-
commercially might take a little hit. Adelaide Freo bear, right?
Be good to have the WA involvement. There's
Well,
plenty of-
Adelaide are
It'd be huge.
Adelaide are massive in South Australia.
There's not a matchup that wouldn't fill the MCG.
No.
Now,
No,
will they make 50 or 20? I don't know.
Yeah,
There's so many people around. We probably take it for granted because we've all been to plenty of grand finals. There are so many people who would just give up their left leg to get to a granny. I think I went with Brisbane Gold Coast because I'm the ambassador to football in South West Queensland. Brisbane, and I'd love to see Brisbane Adelaide.
Brisbane Adelaide would be good.
Yeah.
Probably the two best teams at the moment.
Yes. Yeah.
Obviously, I'm biased with Adelaide. If Adelaide weren't to make it, I still think Brisbane Collingwood. I think that 23 grand final was personally the best grand final I've seen.
Yeah.
It was
Hard
high
to argue
scoring, high skill. There was highlights. It had everything I thought.
Yeah.
No love for Geelong at all.
They're just flying under the radar. They got such a soft run in. I don't know. I personally don't think they're quite as good as the others, but how many times do they come in and just
beat
win it?
Collingwood at the G.
Yeah. They also beat Adelaide for fun.
Beat Adelaide in
How
Adelaide.
many times they just come in? They're the best coach side in the comp. Smartest
They beat
side.
Brisbane in Brisbane as well. Can't remember that game.
They
It
definitely
was
beat
earlier
Brisbane.
in the year because it was.
No, Collingwood beat Brisbane in Brisbane.
Okay, it was a rescheduled game because they were supposed to play an opening round.
I think them and Brisbane are one apiece.
Yeah.
I've got them
Yeah,
finishing.
because Brisbane came down here and then beat
GMHBA.
the life out of them. So yeah, I mean they've got a good record against the very, very best. So I think we can. I'm happy to narrow it down now to those teams at the top. I don't think, if I quickly get the ladder up, I don't think
That's what I'm doing.
GWS, Fremantle, Gold Coast, Hawthorn or the Dogs can win it. I don't think that they're as good as these other teams, particularly when you do have to take into account you've got to do what Brisbane did and go on the road, twice in a row, potentially 3 times in a row to get it done. So I'm happy to say it's down to Adelaide, Collingwood, Brisbane, and maybe Geelong.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well. And when I've done my ladder predictor, you end up having the top 4, the sides, top 4 lose, get back in, and it's just a flip of the 1v2, 3v4. But isn't this meant to be one of the most even seasons of all time? So if it was, I can see the Giants.
Can you?
Yeah.
I was just looking at their profile. So it's just hard. So it surprised me. They're the 6th ranked attack and they're the 12th ranked defence. So their numbers don't necessarily stack up. I'm not sure if that's over the recent span, but and sometimes the profiles can get a bit distorted. Like Adelaide's the number 1 ranked defence, but they've played in a fair few wet games, which can distort the numbers a little bit. But if I gave you, I don't know, you two guys might not be the betting types, but if I gave you $1.80 for Adelaide, Collingwood and Brisbane, and I gave you $2.50 for the rest, you'd take the top 3, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Sure, comfortably.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. If you think about
Maybe I'm a bad bookmaker. Maybe I should have made the price a bit shorter.
I'd like $3 for the field. I'd take it.
$3 for the field.
Yeah.
What you think?
I'd take it there. Well, you got
I'll give
Geelong
you
in that. You got
$1.65.
Giants. You got the Suns.
Way.
You're a brave man.
We don't
I can
respect the
if
Suns.
Adelaide, Collingwood, or Brisbane make it, they're all starting shorter than $2.
I've been saying that for a while. Like, start backing all those teams because
Build a portfolio.
one will make it, maybe two, and you'll just go to the games thinking, I'm going to make money watching the grand final today. But
The Crows are getting close to unders. I think there's 350 now, I think.
problem is they're just not going to lose it. It's unlikely they lose another game unless they lose to Collingwood.
Yeah.
And then they start a lot shorter. And if they lose the quali, I don't want a piece of them.
Yeah.
Lay.
Their betting proposition has probably passed us by.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100 to 1 at the start of the year is probably where the value was.
Yeah. Well, they're 100 to 1.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's at one
Well,
stage.
they were 15th last year, so
Yeah.
understandable.
No team goes from 15th to win it.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, maybe not no team. Maybe the Crom.
That being said, this is a question without notice for you, great man,
I feel like I'm on SEN here. Questions without notice.
when Collingwood went on to win it, did they miss the finals the year before, or am I going mad?
They were 17th in 21, lowest ever ladder position, and then 4th.
Was 21 McRae's last year? Sorry, Buckley's last
Yeah,
year.
he left halfway through the year.
they lose the
They came
prelim
with a
Sydney?
bullet in 22, won 9 in a
lost the
row,
prelim.
lost the prelim by a point,
There was that year.
and then won the flag the next year.
So Crows would certainly be bucking the trend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we shall see.
Well, there you go.
All right. Anything else you want to touch on before a quick little clubbyman nomination, if you've got
no,
one?
I think that's it. I need to save the voice for this afternoon.
Yeah.
So, good work by
Make
all.
sure, you get to the bottom of why Murray was,
Attacked.
or why was he the one doing the attack?
No, I don't
The
think so.
inciting.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Maybe his passion for the Blues was just enough to incite someone. But old news, he tells me.
Okay. Clubman this week, and so Swale, for your context.
Well,
I'm
I'm
sure
going to
you've
go full
seen it.
Crows nuff mode. I think I've got a half-back spot there.
We've got a halfback
We've got a
flank
half
open.
back and a centre half forward.
Keep in mind we
Is
have
that it?
Nasai Wangan and Miller at full forward, so we have to reshuffle. He
He'll
might-
make it work.
No, I put him on the bench because I don't think Nas should be in the best clubman team until he signs a contract and commits to his club.
Very good point, Patto. I'm going to go.
He can sit on the bench and come on when.
To go with a bloke who's missed a lot of footy through injury, who does play half-back and is having a great year, is Wayne Miller.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Junior.
you know the Adelaide players. We haven't alluded to this. You're similar to Link.
I
Where
got a
we've got some
ear to the
family
door.
relations
Yeah, and
on
I
the list.
I just think he's had a cruel run of injuries, Wayne, and has also always been spoken about having all the potential in the world. Has finally got some continuity with his body, which I think he thanks the high performance staff, which is getting a good raps in the media at the moment.
Yeah, aren't they?
So they're getting a good pump up.
Yeah.
But
A lot of a pump up.
he's
I might have lost my
Mm.
bench press runner-up record.
Oh,
They're cheap these days. They're allowed to arch their back and all that sort of stuff. It was a lot stricter.
appropriate technique.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Wayne
Bounce off the
is going under the radar. He was very, very good on the weekend. And because there's a lot of blokes getting high numbers, he's probably not getting spoken about like the rest of them.
no, I like him. Very solid. He looks like someone I want to play with. I had the Crows water boy as a gag. He was hyping up on the bench like you wouldn't believe it. But we can't put a water boy in the team of the year.
Well, the umpires fell flat, so I'm sure the Water Boys would
no,
too.
Any votes for the ump?
Nick Foote got close. He was second in that poll. So I don't think
Foote is a great man
I think
as
we
well.
could come back to the umpire.
Well, it's talking about
brigade.
people who don't necessarily fit the bill. He has to be in a team of selfless types.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there should have been alarm bells there. But I'm going Patrick Voss before you say his
Yeah,
name.
good work.
I want to get that in.
Nice. He fits the bill. He'll be hard to beat. I'm going to go with Zach Bailey because he never complains about not playing in the midfield.
Yep.
All he does is just play out half forward and wing and dominate. So I'm happy to go with Zachary Bailey, one of my favourites.
I'm going to go his partner in crime. I'm going to go Cam Rain. I got a free spot in the forward pocket, and that's where he did his best work on Saturday
Picked up
night.
some new ink over the past couple of weeks.
He did.
It's a
He
bit of
did.
a wreath type thing on the shoulder.
Clubs usually hate that because they're like, I can't do contact for a day or two because I've got new tattoos.
No, but he would. I reckon it'd be awesome as a Brisbane fan at halftime. You check the stats and you see Cam Rain has got 3. You're never going to go. you're never going to think he's going to end with 6. You know he's going to
Have
give
his
you that green
moments,
shoot in that second half.
And now it makes sense. He was just probably a bit sore from the new ink, so he was just feeling his way into the
Bit of
game.
numbing cream in the second half, Patto.
Get the numbing cream on.
I'd love to open a tattoo shop just
Yeah.
for AFL players. You do all right for yourself.
Oh, bloody oath. Up in the gold.
Collingwood would fund that, I reckon.
Absolutely.
All right. Great show. Thanks for stepping in, Wilbur.
Geez, I've very much enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I've probably just gone full nuff mode. But
Do we know if Leggy's available next week?
I think he will be. He likes seeing himself in these clips, I reckon. So I'm sure we'll be moving heaven and earth to get back in.
All right. Good work, all.
thanks, guys.
Thanks, Link.
Go Dockers.